This is something that had happened on Christmas, and apparently, two teenagers were fighting over Christmas gifts, and it ended up turning deadly for their sister. Let's tune in.
23-year-old mother of two is dead after being shot by her own brother on Christmas Eve. Abrielle Baldwin was trying to break up an argument between her siblings when one of them pulled out a gun. Fox 13's Evan Axelbank reports on what has the sheriff furious and the changes he is now calling for.
Two teenagers in Florida were fighting over Christmas presents, and it was because of their older sister that they even got the Christmas presents. And they decided that because one got more Christmas presents than the other, it was the right thing to shoot the older sister that was trying to prevent them from arguing over Christmas presents. And she ended up dying because of it. But let's continue.
Photos Abrielle Baldwin posted to social media show her filled with joy.
She's just a woman going about life, doing her thing with her two kids, trying to make a living, trying to make it.
On Christmas Eve, while at her grandmother's home on 22nd Avenue in Largo, she'd had enough of her brothers bickering. DeMarcus and Darcus began pulling guns on one another.
First of all, we got to go over these names. DeMarcus and Darvis. Look at these two. Look at these two. Ah, man. Do I have to say it? I'm disappointed in them. I'm just disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed in how our community keeps seeming to fail when it comes to our children. These two boys could have had a bright future ahead of them. They could have done wonderful things in this world. But instead, they decided to enter into the gang / criminal world. But let's continue.
Guns on one another.
Abrielle told DeMarcus, quote, "You all need to leave that stuff alone. Why are you trying to start it? It's Christmas."
They both had been fighting over Christmas presents, with the 15-year-old Darcus jealous that their mom had spent more on gifts for 14-year-old DeMarcus. After Abrielle stepped in, DeMarcus pulled a gun and fired, killing her and sending her son and his nephew, an 11-month-old, falling to the ground.
She had a whole 11-month-old in her hand. So the breakdown of the story is the mother, their mother, ended up buying them Christmas presents, as a good mother does. She's probably a single mother. There's probably no father in the house. But she ends up buying them Christmas presents. And because the older one seen that the younger one got better Christmas presents than him, he decided to start an argument about it.
Then Darcus pulled his own gun and shot DeMarcus, leaving him badly injured.
This proliferation of guns on the streets and guns in this area and guns in the hands of these kids, this is the worst I've ever seen it. I don't think we've ever seen it this bad.
The sheriff says the area around 22nd Avenue in Largo has been subject to extra patrols lately, with 13 gun-related incidents since September. He says his office has gotten reports of 17 guns stolen from unlocked cars. He suspects the guns used in this shooting were obtained that way.
And people can't leave their car doors unlocked and leave their guns in their car.
That don't make no sense. You know you got a gun in your car. Why are you leaving your car door unlocked? First of all. Second of all, you know you got a gun in the car. Why are you leaving your gun in the car when you ain't in the car? That junk should be on you at all times. But this is very unfortunate because these are two kids that they haven't even lived life yet. They haven't seen life yet. They haven't enjoyed life yet. They're now getting to start living life at the age of 13 and 14 and 15. You know, you're going into your middle school years, high school years. You're now starting to really understand how education works, how the world is working. You know that there are different types of people in the world. And I don't know the situation exactly where they were, where they were from. I know it was in Florida, but we don't know if it's the hood. And it could have been the environment they were raised in. It could have been the environment they were raised in. But again, this goes to just show us that it's unfortunate that you can be put in these situations and it's kind of like a dead end for a lot of young kids. Regardless of how good you look, how much potential you had, this stuff it seemingly always ends to death or jail.
It's got to stop.
Further, the sheriff says both juveniles have been let off the hook too easily by the juvenile justice system, particularly DeMarcus, who has a history of violence against school staff and law enforcement. The sheriff is calling for tougher laws.
They are not getting the consequences that they should get that keep them from doing it again and again and again.
Abrielle was only 23, and now her kids, an 11-month-old and a 6-year-old, will have to grow up without her.
I can't imagine how those kids are going to feel about their uncles when they actually grow up and realize what happened. Christmas will never be the same. Holidays will never be the same. And honestly, I could see them hating their uncles for the rest of their lives just because of a little argument over some toys. It's sad. It's a sad situation. She was only 23. She was young. She didn't even live half of her life yet. And she was trying to split up them from fighting and ended up getting hit with the bullet. Had an 11-month-old in her. The kid didn't even care enough to say, my nephew is in her hand. Let me not do this.
Evan Axelbank, Fox 13 News.
DeMarcus has been charged with first-degree murder for shooting his sister. He's in the hospital and expected to recover. Darkus is charged with attempted first-degree murder and is in a mental health treatment facility.
Absolutely sad. Absolutely just sad. Absolutely sad. One dead, two are going to jail over Christmas presents. We got to do better, people. We got to do better.